From the Cactus, KCTS-FM Phoenix, I'm Jamison Greenwood with Greenwood and Company. Well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Also, happy Arizona Statehood Day. Of course, February 14th, as many of you know, was the day that Arizona became a state. And we'll talk more about that toward the end of the show tonight. But in the meantime, Valentine's is always the day where people exchange cards and focus on romantic love, whether you're a child or a young-at-heart person. And I remember a time when Theo was pursuing his crush, and it's quite a story, so let's go ahead and dive straight into it. I don't know if customs have changed in the post-COVID era, but when I was growing up in the 90s and 2000s, it was customary for elementary school children to exchange Valentine cards. Each year, Giggets, Target, and the other supermarkets and big box retailers would stock up on boxed sets of cards to distribute to classrooms of 20 or more children, some just being themed around candy hearts and shades of red, pink, and purple, while others featured favorite characters from Power Rangers to Scooby-Doo to Kim Possible, whom I, like Ron Stoppable and many boys of my generation, would be grateful to have as a Valentine. However, at some point we have to put aside our childhood dreams of building a life with our cartoon flames, but quickly forget them when we meet those God has blessed us with in the real world. I felt a glow first toward Chloe Bradbury, our next-door neighbor and elder sister of our classmate Mary. Taylor felt it toward our classmate Jacob Chen, and for Theo, the one who grabbed his heart in childhood was Olivia Quintero, whom we had just met in 4th grade. Olivia and her family had recently moved from Nogales, and her parents had grown up in Guadalajara and spoke very little English. When she first came to Cactus Wren Elementary, Olivia was rather introverted, but when Mrs. Hicks was having us do a science experiment, she opened up a bit when Taylor invited her over. "You want to come join us?" Taylor asked Olivia. We were required to be in groups of at least 2, but no more than 4, and Theo, Taylor, and I had formed our usual trio. "Okay." She seemed nervous but did smile, though Theo's smile was no doubt bigger. During the course of our project, we had to see which of the following items were the best and worst conductors of electricity: aluminum foil, a bar of soap, a lemon, and plastic cling wrap. The test would be conducted by connecting 2 pieces of insulated copper wire to each of the objects in question, one wire attached to a pair of Duracell batteries, the other to a small incandescent light bulb, not unlike the type my father would have used in some of his toy train locomotives, especially the ones made by Ives in the 1930s. Many sparks flew in Mrs. Hicks' class as the immature 9- and 10-year-old children experimented with live wires, but the most significant spark had to be between Theo and Olivia, who eagerly watched each other position the different conductors, while I acted as scribe and Theo as the one measuring the light with a small lumen gauge that Mrs. Hicks gave to each team. Once we'd tested and found cling wrap to be the worst conductor and citrus to be the best, the 4 of us engaged in conversation, yet once the subject went to Avatar: The Last Airbender, Theo and Olivia did most of the talking, loving every minute of it. After everyone finished their experiments and we cleaned up the classroom, Mrs. Hicks dismissed us to go to lunch, after which we went to the playground. Theo joined Taylor and I, while Olivia went to sit beneath a silk oak tree and read a copy of a Dragon Ball manga, but Theo got distracted several times watching her. "Guys," Theo said shortly after, "I think I like Olivia. You going to ask her to be your Valentine?" I said, noting Valentine's Day was near. Taylor was more concerned. "Are you sure that's a good idea, Jimmy? Theo just met her." "I don't know," Theo said. I thought Taylor's question was valid, so I tried to provide a middle-of-the-road answer. "You don't have to now, but if you want to, that's fine." I was trying to answer in a way that a trusted adult like Pastor Rubio, my Grammy Benson, or Mr. Rogers might have, though I know Mr. Rogers probably would have thought romantic love was something of a grown-up thing. "I want to tell her," Theo said, "but I'll need you guys to figure out what to say and the right way to say it." This was on a Thursday, and Valentine's Day would be on Wednesday, so we had time to let this churn in the stomachs of our minds. Theo left school early on Friday for a doctor's appointment, most likely so his mother could renew a prescription for Ritalin to rein in his hyperactivity. So instead of the three of us making our trek to 7-Eleven, then the fellowship hall at Garden Lakes Presbyterian Church, it was just Taylor and I. We mainly worked on our assigned journal entries when I caught a sight of a picture of our organist Ted Driscoll, who was Theo's father, and remembered we'd planned to ponder the best way for Theo to ask Olivia to be his Valentine. "I've been thinking about Theo and Olivia," I said to Taylor, "and it seems that the best way for him to confess his feelings would be to give her the most romantic card from the set of cards he gives everybody. That way she gets treated equally to everyone in class, but still—" "Actually, Jimmy," Taylor cut me off, "I realize there's a bit of a problem." "Oh, you don't think they're meant to be together?" I thought for a moment. "We can probably save that for the wedding, but I don't think we'll need to." "No, not with them," Taylor said. "See, during PE today, I played Foursquare with Mary Bradbury and some of the other girls, and Mary said she was in love with Theo, and she was going to ask him to be her Valentine." "Did you say anything?" I asked. Taylor shook her head. "I don't know what to do," she said. "Do you think maybe we should ask Pastor Rubio?" I suggested. "He probably went home already," said Taylor. We walked to Pastor Rubio's office, but Rebecca, the church secretary, told us he had to leave early to go visit a church member who was about to have heart surgery. We debated what to do and decided we should let Theo know about Mary and have him say to her that even if he didn't like her, she was a great person and would be perfect for some other guy. We didn't see Theo again until Sunday, when he brought up the concern on his own after we went to the fellowship hall for lemonade. Mary had rejoined her sister Chloe and her mother Deanna, who was also our Sunday school teacher, but once Theo joined us, Mary waved at him with a flirtatious smile. "Guys, I think Mary's got a crush on me," said Theo. "Why do you think that?" I asked. It seemed best to play dumb. "Because when Miss Deanna dismissed us, she wished us all a happy Valentine's Day, and as we were walking to the church for communion, Mary said to me, 'Maybe I'll ask you to be my Valentine.'" We'd planned, of course, to spend most of that time discussing how he should approach telling Olivia he liked her, and recommended that he provide a card for her, but not before giving our recommendation to have him reject Mary whilst giving her a sense that she would be a great person for some other boy. "Perhaps tell her that you're worried about other guys who may really love her," I suggested. A horrible idea, but well-meaning. On Valentine's Day, we all exchanged our cards and candies, with Mrs. Hicks bringing in cookies with heart-shaped sprinkles for us to have at the end of the day. We saw no specific signs of romance between Theo and Olivia during the first half of the day, and were unsure if Theo had gone up to speak with her, but we did see Theo go to Mary on the playground. They engaged in discussion, but Taylor and I did not stare because we didn't want to be intrusive. Theo then came to us with a defeated look on his face and his shoulders raised in a state of anxiety. "Did Mary take it well?" said Taylor. "I tried to tell her what you suggested, but I couldn't." "What do you mean?" I asked. "Mary's my girlfriend now," Theo said. "I couldn't tell her the truth. We're going to see the middle school basketball game on Friday. And I have a nasty habit of dropping bombshells just before the point in the show where we have to take a short break, but when we come back we'll let you know about the date and what future, if any, Theo might have had with Olivia in just a moment. You're listening to Greenwood and Company on KCTS. Hello, I'm Jamison Greenwood. If you enjoy Greenwood and Company, be sure to follow and share wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with more Greenwood and Company right after this. Looking for something special for your feline Valentine, but the sticks with the feathers on a string seem too cliché? Then why not get your cat a nice big bag of Gunner's Cat Clusters from the Gunner's Feed conglomerate? Our cat clusters are a trademark mix of anchovies, mice liver, and rat tails, tossed together with triple bleached starch and recycled yellow legal paper, pressed into special fish-shaped nuggets your cat will find delicious. Gunner's Cat Clusters, available at your local pet store, along with Giggett supermarkets and other subpar retailers. Warning: Gunner's Cat Clusters are known to cause feline dysentery in South Carolina and North and South Dakotas. Cats have occasionally eaten their owners after consuming this product. Not recommended by the American Veterinary Medical Association or the Colorado Game and Fish Department. Gunner's Cat Clusters will bust your cat's hungers. Get a special heart-covered bag of Gunner's Cat Clusters today. And welcome back. You are listening to Greenwood and Company on the Cactus, KCTS. Now, before the break, Theo was about to tell Mary Bradbury he wasn't interested in her so he could pursue Olivia, but Mary beat him to the punch. So Theo, naturally, was overly concerned as he didn't want Mary to be his girlfriend. "How am I going to do this?" he said. "I don't know if I could spend the rest of my life with Mary." "You don't have to spend the rest of your life with her, Theo," said Taylor. "And it could be a good thing," I added. "Some people are lukewarm about each other at first, then they gradually fall in love as they get to know each other. I heard this on some sitcom and thought it might be applicable." "I know," said Theo, "but I still like Olivia, and I already gave her the card you guys said I should give her." We weren't sure what to do, and at that moment the bell rang to go back to class, so we didn't really have much time to discuss anything with Theo because Mary hijacked him for the rest of the day. The next Friday, Theo had his date with Mary, in which he went along with her to the Estrella Valley Middle School for a boys' basketball game. In a twist, her mother Deanna said that Mary should invite Taylor and I, which was a plus for me, as well I would usually rather watch paint dry than a bunch of smelly middle school guys toss an orange ball across a decaying gymnasium. Mary's sister Chloe would be performing with the cheer squad. It was nice seeing Chloe and the rest of the cheerleaders giving moral support between awkward shots by guys not yet comfortable in their grown-up skin, along with the dinner at Peeper Piper Pizza we went to after, but we could tell Theo was in misery. "I wish Olivia were here," he said. "I hope I haven't broken her heart." "Well," said Taylor, "we'll just—" I jumped in. "Pray." "Yes," said Taylor, "we'll keep praying about it." We both patted Theo on the shoulder as he got another root beer, then went back to his girlfriend. The next Sunday at church was even worse. The three of us would typically sit together in one pew with one of our families during communion, and though I sat with Taylor and the rest of the Pattons, Theo sat with the Bradburys, 2 pews in front of us. Theo wore his white shirt, black vest, and blue bow tie, while Mary sat in one of her Sunday school dresses, occasionally hugging him tight with a sense of ecstasy, but I could tell by his stillness and drooping head that she was squeezing the soul right out of him. Mary kept Theo hijacked during coffee and lemonade hour as well, and we didn't get a chance to talk to him again until we sat together in Mrs. Catt's art class while making gouaches of fruits, vegetables, and glassware. "I've got to break up with Mary," Theo said. "What?" Taylor asked. "Are you sure?" I inquired. I knew all along that it would probably be a disaster for him to be with her, but I also thought I should give them the benefit of the doubt. "She's driving me insane," said Theo. "I never get any time to do anything myself. She keeps calling our voicemail, and my mom and dad are getting tired of it, too." We discussed and figured that telling her she was a good girl, just not the right one for him, would be the best way to approach it, and he resolved to discuss it with her during lunch recess. "Just make sure you speak the truth in love," I said, figuring biblical advice would be meaningful for a kid who wanted to be a pastor when he grew up. When we were let out after lunch, we went to the playground where Taylor and I camped out beneath a tube slide and noticed Olivia under the same silk oak tree reading the same manga book as last week, but she was caught up in the world of Dragon Ball and didn't see us. Theo approached Mary. "Mary, I need to talk to you," he said, but we were not expecting his girlfriend's reply. "I need to talk to you too, Theo." We figured that Theo was about to launch into the dialogue we'd rehearsed with him, but we were not prepared for what came out of Mary's mouth. "Theo, I'm breaking up with you." "Why?" he said. "You're a nice guy, Theo," Mary said, "but you're so boring. You talk way too much about Spider-Man, Pokemon, and Dragon Ball. I don't think this relationship's going to work." Then she turned away to play double dutch with Brooke Snodgrass, Taylor's arch-nemesis, and a couple of her friends. Theo stood there silent. Taylor and I knew he wouldn't have minded the pain of Mary breaking up with him, but considering how much he loved Marvel and the animes, it could break him. We couldn't see his face, but Taylor and I were both worried he might be crying by the time we reached him. Yet someone else stopped us in our tracks. None other than Olivia Quintero, Theo's choice of Valentine, with her raven black hair in a ponytail, the Dragon Ball manga in her hand, and a look of sympathy to rival Taylor's and mine. "That was so mean what Mary said to you, Theo," Olivia said. "Yeah," he exclaimed, looking affirmed. "Who says Pokemon and Spider-Man are boring?" "You can talk about Spider-Man all you want with me," said Olivia. "We can talk about Spider-Man later," Theo said. "I want to look at your Dragon Ball manga with you." And with that, Taylor and I left Theo to sit with his love and partake in the grand tradition of reading a paperback manga under the breezing shade of a silk oak tree. You're listening to Greenwood and Company on KCTS. Looking for something special for your canine Valentine, but the tennis balls and rope toys aren't jumping out at you? Here's an idea. Get your dog a nice big bag of Gunner's Dog Clusters from the Gunner's Feed conglomerate. Our dog clusters are a trademark mix of chicken kidneys, beef bladder, and cheese whiz, tossed together with pure triple-bleached starch and ground pumice stone, pressed into special bone-shaped nuggets your dog will devour. Gunner's Dog Clusters, available at your local pet store, along with Giggett supermarkets and other subpar retailers. Warning: Gunner's Dog Clusters are banned in Canada and known to cause canine cholera in California and Connecticut. Dogs have been known to violently attack those who have purchased this product. Not recommended by the American Veterinary Medical Association or the Delaware Department of Environmental Quality. Gunner's Dog Clusters will bust your dog's hungers. Get a special heart-covered bag of Gunner's Dog Clusters today. Support for Greenwood and Company comes from the Used Car Salesman Plaid Sport Coat Foundation, the Save the Floppy Disks Foundation, and the Folding Chair Charitable Trusts. Well, Valentine's Day also happens to be the birthday of something that I really love, a place I love. February 14th, back in 1912, as many of you know, was when Arizona became a state. And to celebrate, I have a poem about Arizona's 5 C's, the things that we are known for: copper, cattle, citrus, climate, and cotton. Lincoln's face upon this resource, found in Arizona's mines, currents flowing across long strands of this precious brown metal, channeling the Grand Canyon, this element our commerce. Growing in desert orchards, fruits of orange, yellow, and green complement our morning toast or flavor a luscious dessert. These, an excellent source of vitamin C, aid our health. Though appalling in their smell, these creatures make a beverage, paired with school lunch and cookies. They sacrifice their lives for meat to serve in restaurants, smothered with barbecue sauce. Soft and fluffy, cloudy, white, a unique and precious crop found in all the southern states abundant in the desert, making clothes, protecting pills with its resilient fibers. Though gentle snows reach the north, year-round a golden sun shines, scorching summers overheat, yet bring the mildest winters. Our Southwest state's best-selling feature warms our hearts as well. That brings an end to this week's Greenwood and Company. Our show was created and hosted by yours truly and was written by him along with James Salison and Minnesota Martinez. The engineer is Ivan Crosby. Jonas Andrews answers the phones even though we don't take calls on this program. The theme was composed by Martin Landstrom, and our costumes are provided by Grandma's Garage Thrift Shop. All the characters, settings, and situations depicted in this program, along with all advertised products, are entirely fictional, and any similarities to products, events, or persons, living or dead, is entirely coincidental. Also, KCTS is not an actual radio station. Be sure to visit our website at JamisonGreenwoodPodcast.com to learn more about Greenwood and Company, and make sure to follow us on the podcast platform of your choice and share with your friends on social media. Just a reminder to please be careful if you are going out on the 101, the 17, or Route 66 tonight. I'm Jamison Greenwood, and until we meet again, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay young at heart. Good night. This is KCTS FM Phoenix. Stay tuned for Lacking in Substance.